Hi everybody, thanks again for joining me. I'm Elizabeth, I'm a dietitian, and what I've been doing for the past couple of weeks is making healthy meals, talking meal planning, talking label reading, trying to help figure this all out. So this week we're working on dinners, and we're going to make another dinner today, which is going to be a pesto chicken over zoodles. So it's a really super easy meal, super fast. I thought too we might also have the conversation on how to read labels for carbs, because we started a carb conversation in my last video. I thought we would continue that conversation on how to read labels for carbs while the chicken was cooking. So let's get right to it, okay? So I have my pan right here on my stove, and I'm going to turn it on to medium heat, and I'm going to spray with the Pesto. And I'm going to go a little bit light on my oil at this meal today, just because my pesto sauce offers so much fat in it. In fact, we are going to consider the fat in the pesto sauce our fat. Now, I tried this earlier and you couldn't really see it because the lighting wasn't great. But on here, the serving size is a 1/4 cup. And a 1/4 cup of this pesto sauce has 25 grams of fat in it. Now, way back when, a couple weeks ago, we had talked about how 4 grams is what's in 1 teaspoon of butter. So we were comparing everything to butter. So a 1/4 cup of this has pretty close to 6 teaspoons of butter in it, right? Which seems like a lot to me. So I'm going to go a little bit light on this. I'm going to definitely count this as my fat for my meal. Okay, so my pan is warmed up, and now I've already cut my chicken into small pieces. So I'm going to put my chicken in there. And we're going to start sauteing up the chicken all nice. Now they say to give the chicken lots of space in there, because when chicken is crowded is when it gets more steamed than, say, that brownish look that we like. That's so tasty. I'm also going to add a little bit of salt and pepper to this. A little bit of salt. I love pepper, so I'm going to add a lot of pepper. I love pepper so much that I took it off the sprinkle and put it on the pour so that I could, because sometimes it would take me forever to get the pepper I wanted. So a little bit of salt, lots of pepper. All right, so while this is cooking up, we're going to talk labels, okay? All right, so if you know me, or if you've been watching any of my videos, you know that something I like to do is compare the grams to something that I can relate it to, because I don't always relate to grams. So we've talked in the past about relating grams of fat to teaspoons of butter. We've talked in the past about relating grams of protein to an egg, just so that we can turn it into something that's more relatable. So, and on Monday we talked about the different types of carbs. We talked about the simple versus the complex, about how starches and fiber digest a little bit slower than the sugar. So natural sugar would digest quickly, added sugar digests quickly, but starches digest a little bit slower. But we're definitely looking for a lot of starches that have fiber in them, because that's really going to slow it down, right? So, but let's take it a step further and consider how to look at it. So, when I think of carbs, I think of bread, right? So what I try to do is I try to turn the grams of carbs into slices of bread, because that's just easy for me to understand. So an example would be, here we have this bread right here, Nature's Own. And this Nature's Own bread, the serving size is 1 slice. And 1 slice of this Nature's Own bread has, it's hard to see, 14 grams of carbs in it. Total carbs is 14 grams, okay? So here's the thing. This 14 grams of total carbs, that's textbook. They say that every slice of bread offers us about 15 grams of carbs. So this is pretty textbook. 1 slice of bread is 15 grams of carbs, okay? So now let's compare it to some other things. I should have put my stuff closer to me. Okay, so here we have this delightful bread, okay? So now this delightful bread right here, the serving size is 2 slices, and 2 slices of this light bread, delightful bread or light bread, offers us 18 grams of carbs. So there's only 4 more grams of carbs in 2 slices versus 1 slice of this normal bread. So what I like to say is light bread, 2 slices of light bread is like having 1 slice of normal bread as far as carbs go. I'm gonna stir my chicken real quick. Once again, I'm going to give it lots of space in the pan so that it doesn't steam. Okay, so now let's look at crackers, okay? I just pulled some food out of my cabinet. So here we have these Triscuits, right? So these Triscuits, the serving size of Triscuits is 6 crackers. And 6 crackers offers us 20 grams of total carbohydrates. So we're looking at like a slice and a third of bread in every 6 crackers. So every time we eat 6 crackers, it is like having a slice of bread and a little bit more. I don't have bagels, but typically speaking, a bagel offers us 60 grams of carbs, which is like 4 slices of bread. That seems like a lot. Here we have these extra cheesy Cheez-Its. Extra cheesy Cheez-Its, they have serving size 26 crackers. 26 crackers has, can we see it? The lighting isn't great. Well, 26 crackers offers us 18 grams of carbs. So if we eat 26 of these crackers, it is like having a slice of bread pretty much. Okay? Now one last one, well not one last one, but a couple more to look at. Here we have some cereal. Now the serving size of this cereal is 1 1/3 cups. Now this right here is 1 1/2 cups. So the serving size is a tad bit less than this. This is not a whole lot of cereal in my opinion. And every 1 1/3 cups of this cereal is 35 grams of carbs. Now these are just Frosted Flakes. These aren't even, no, these are just Corn Flakes. These aren't even Frosted Flakes. So this offers us, so this 1 1/3 cup, so a little bit less than this, is like having 2 slices of bread, a little bit more. If you have a cereal bowl like I typically would, it would be a lot more, right? I would probably be having the equivalent of like 4 slices of bread, which seems like a lot to me. So let's look now at breadcrumbs, okay? So here we have these breadcrumbs, and the serving size of the breadcrumbs is 1/4 cup. And 1/4 cup of breadcrumbs offers us 16 grams of carbs. So 1 of total carbohydrates. So every 4th cup of breadcrumbs is like having a slice of bread. And then if we look at the panko, let's compare it to panko. And panko, the serving size is 1/2 cup. So the serving size is twice as big, and for total carbs, it's 20 grams. So this panko is slightly less carbs than these breadcrumbs. Just things to think about. So when like I said, when I look at everything, I'm gonna stir my chicken real quick again. When I look at carbs, I like to compare them to bread, just to help give me a real picture as to what's going on. Like I was looking at a Cliff Bar the other day, and a Cliff Bar offered 45 grams of carbs, which is like 3 slices of bread. Seems excessive for me for a snack or even a meal, okay? Now what I'm going to do is my chicken is looking nice and browned, so I'm going to add these Zoodles veggie spirals. Frozen, easy. They're still frozen. It'd probably be better if they weren't frozen, but I went to the grocery store this morning. If I was you, I would thaw them out first. Okay, I'm going to add those. I'm going to turn the heat up a little bit just because they weren't thawed, so they're kind of liquidy. if I was prepared, I would have thawed them and drained some of the liquid out. But instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cook them and boil them a little bit more. So let me see if I can think of some other things. Like I said, the bagels tend to be high. Cliff Bars tend to be high. So that is just, those are just some examples. But so other examples of what carbs are, typically we got rice, and what they say is 1/3 cup rice is the equivalent to 1 slice of bread, or 1/3 cup cooked pasta is the equivalent of a slice of bread. Also in the equation is, well, potatoes are a starch, and they say a 1/2 cup of potato is the equivalent to 1 slice of bread. All offering us at 15 grams of carbs. I just say 1 slice of bread. I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say. And then there's also, let's see, what else is there? That's considered a starch. Quinoa is considered a starch, so 1/3 cup quinoa is the equivalent to 1 slice of bread. Also would be like chips, so they say 1/3 cup. Now, something that is often brought to my attention is during meal planning, I always say a 1/2 cup. I just feel as though that's an easier thing to measure out. If you want to go as low as a 1/3 cup, just to get that 1 slice of bread, you could, or not at all. Starches offer us those carb calories, but we also get carb calories from fruit, as we learned the simpler form, from milk, from starch. These are all, and vegetables too, offer us carb calories as well. These are all different ways to get carb calories. So if you don't want to have a starch, I don't feel as though you need one. You're going to get everything you need from other things, and starches are pretty calorie dense, because this one slice of bread, or 1/3 cup of cooked pasta, or 1/3 cup of cooked rice, every one of those offers us 80 calories. So those calories add up quickly. Whereas with vegetables, the carb calories in vegetables, 25 calories for a cup raw or a 1/2 cup cooked, so those add up a little bit slower, which is why I'm pretty vegetable heavy. I'm going to let this simmer for a little bit to cook some of the liquid off, because it kind of dropped the ball on this. And then I'll be right back with you when we add the pesto sauce and we're done. Okay? Hold on. All right, so we are about done. And even though I did kind of drop the ball, look at that. This is before I added it. It looks like chicken with Zoodles. Not too liquidy. I think it's good. I do admit I did drain some of the fluid off. Now, somebody had told me one time that they didn't like to cook with the Zoodles because they felt as though they got too watery. And when I did some further digging, I learned that they were trying to boil them like normal pasta. Let's not do that when we're cooking with Zoodles. We just want to saute them up, warm them up, like you would a normal vegetable. You wouldn't boil it. So what I did just now is I added 2 tablespoons of the pesto sauce, pre-made. You could use your own pesto sauce, of course, which would be much better. And then, so we have 2 tablespoons of the pesto. So I cut the amount of fat in half, and it actually seems pretty perfect on here. And it smells really good once again. And then I'm going to plate it up, and then I'll show you what it looks like on my plate. I didn't plate it very pretty, but there we go. We have a chicken is my protein. My vegetables are those Zoodles. And then if I wanted to have a starch with it, I could have a dinner roll with it if I wanted to, or any other or any other kind of starch that I wanted. So once again, I want to thank you for joining me. Chicken and pesto today. We'll make our last dinner on Friday, wrap up our dinner conversation. Next week, I'm going to cover some snacks, and I'm also going to cover some ready-to-eat breakfast, like breakfast you can make and go. So that's it for me today. I want to thank you again for joining me. Like, share. They say all this helps. So, and let me know what you think of the recipes. And we'll talk again on Friday. Have a good couple days. Bye.